Hello, my name is Bernardo B. Escoreal III. I am 9 years old. I can tell you the President of the Philippines and the United States, and I am Filipino. I will gonna tell you the presidential term and they born or they died. What on the President of the United States, I will gonna tell the presidential term because I already have a video on YouTube of the presidential term of the United States. Okay, let's start. Let's start on President of the Philippines. The first President of the Philippines is Emilio Aguinaldo. His presidential term is 1899 to 1901. He was born on year 1869, died 1964. Next President of the Philippines is Manuel Rojas. He was born on year 1878, died 1944. His presidential term is 1935 to 1944. Next President of the Philippines is Jose P. Laurel. His presidential term is 1943 to 1945. He was born on year 1891, died 1959. The Filipino peoples took Manuel Quezon away from the Philippines because he might get shocked of the Japanese empires. So, that's why Jose P. Laurel took his term of the Philippines. Jose P. Laurel is the puppet president. Next president of the Philippines is Sergio Osmeña. His presidential term is 1944 to 1946. He was born on year 1878, died 1961. Next President of the Philippines is Manuel Rojas. His presidential term is 1946 to 1948. He was born on year 1892, died 1948. Next President of the Philippines is Elpidio Quirino. His presidential term is 1948 to 1953. He was born on year 1890, died 1956. Next President of the Philippines is Ramon Magsaysay. His presidential term is 1953 to 1957. He was born on year 1907, died 1957. He got an airplane crash. That's why he died in office. Next President of the Philippines is Carlos P. Garcia. His presidential term is 1957 to 1961. He was born on year 1896, like 1971. The next president of the Philippines is Diosdado Macapagal. His presidential term is 1961 to 1965. He was born on year 1910. Died 1996. Next President of the Philippines is Ferdinand Marcos. His presidential term is 1965 to 1986. He got a longest term, and he got People Power Revolution. And he was born on year 1917, died 1989. Next President of the Philippines is Fidel V Ramos. His presidential term, the next President of the Philippines is Corazon Aquino. His presidential term is 1986 to 1992. She was born in year 1933, like 2009. Next President of the Philippines is Fidel V Ramos. His presidential term is 1992 to 1998. He was born on year 1928, died unknown. He is still alive today. And the next president of the Philippines is Joseph Estrada. His presidential term is 1998 to 2001. He got People Power Revolution again, People Power Revolution 2. He was born on year 1937, died unknown. He was still alive today. Next President of the Philippines is Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. She's presidential term is 2001 to 2010. She was born on year 1946, died unknown. She was still alive today. Next President of the Philippines is Rodrigo Aquino III. His presidential term is 2010 to 2016. He was born on year 1961, died unknown. He was still alive today. And this present time, the President of the Philippines is Rodrigo Duterte. His presidential term is 2016 present. He was born on year 1945, died unknown. And here's the President of the United States. First President of the United States is George Washington. He was born on year 1732, died 1799. Next President of the United States is John Adams. He was born on year 1735, died 1826. Next President of the United States is Thomas Jefferson. His presidential term, he was born on year 1743, died 1826. He got the same date of John Adams. Next President of the United States is James Madison. His presidential term is, he was born on year 1751, died 1836. The next President of the United States is James Monroe. He was born on year 1758, died 1831. Next President of the United States is John Quincy Adams. He was born on year 1767, died 1848. The next President of the United States is Andrew Jackson. He was born on year 1767, died 1845. Next President of the United States is Martin Van Buren. He was born on year 1782, died 1862. Next President of the Philippines, United States, is William Henry Harrison. He was born on year 1773, died 1841. Next President of the United States is John Tyler. He was born on year 1790, died 1862. Next President of the United States is James K. Polk. He was born in year 1795, died 1849. The next President of the United States is Zachary Taylor. He was born in year 1784, died 1850. Next President of the United States is Willard Fillmore. He was born in year 1800, died 1874. Next President of the United States is Franklin Pierce. He was born in year 1804, died 1869. Next President of the United States is James Buchanan. He was born in year 1791, died 1868. Next President of the United States is Abraham Lincoln. He was born in year 1861, died 1865. He was born on year 1809, died 1865. Next President of the United States is Andrew Johnson. He was born on year 1808, died 1875. The next President of the United States is Ulysses S. Grant. He was born on year 1822, died 1885. The next President of the United States is Rutherford B. Hayes. He was born on year 1822, died 1893. Next President of the United States is James A. Garfield. He was born on year 1831, died 1881. Next President of the United States is Chester A. Arthur. He was born on year 1829, died 1886. The next President of the United States is Grover Cleveland. He got 2 terms on year 1885 to 1889. The second term is 1893 to 1897. And he was born on year 1837, died 1908. The next President of the United States is Benjamin Harrison. He was born on year 1833, died 1901. The next President of the United States is Grover Cleveland, but I already tell when he born or the time. Let's skip to William McKinley. He was born on year 1843, died 1901. Next President of the United States is Theodore Roosevelt. He was born on year 1858, died 1919. Next President of the United States is William Howard Taft. He was born on year 1857, died 1930. Next President of the United States is Woodrow Wilson. He was born on year 1856, died 1924. Next President of the United States is Warren G. Harding. He was born on year 1865, died 1923. Next President of the United States is Calvin Coolidge. He was born on year 1872, died 1933. Next President of the United States is Herbert Hoover. He was born on year 1874, died 1964. Next President of the United States is Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was born on year 1882, died 1945. Next President of the United States is Harry S. Truman. He was born on year 1884, died 1972. Next President of the United States is Dwight D. Eisenhower. He was born on year 1890, died 1969. Next President of the United States is John F. Kennedy. He was born on year 1917, died 1963. Next President of the United States is Lyndon B Johnson. He was born on year 1908, died 1973. Next President of the United States is Richard Nixon. He was born on year 1913, died 1994. Next President of the United States is Gerald Ford. He was born on year 1913, died 2006. The next President of the United States is Jimmy Carter. He was born on year 1924, died unknown. The next President of the United States is Ronald Regan. He was born on year 1911, died 2004. The next President of the United States is George Herbert Walker Bush. He was born on year 1924, died 2018. The next President of the United States is William Jefferson Clinton. He was born on year 1946, died unknown. The next President of the United States is George Walker Bush. He was born on year 1946, died unknown. The next President of the United States is Barack Obama. He was born on year 1961, died unknown. The next President, at the present time right now, the President of the United States is Donald Trump. He was born on year 1946, the end